Hi, my name is Michael Poley, and I've never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My friends are obsessed and always make jokes and references to it, and so now, 20 years later, I've been convinced to watch the show from beginning to end, one episode a week. I'm a Buffy virgin. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Buffy Virgin. My name is Michael Poley. I'm the virgin. I've never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer except up to Season 3, Episode 5, Homecoming. And on the show today, we have Dennis A. John, a horror comics cartoonist.
Happy to be here, guys.
John, a teacher and Buffy enthusiast.
Hello.
And special guest, David Yoder, a comic book writer, artist, and enthusiast.
I'm definitely an enthusiast, yes. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome.
David Yoder, king of the cartoon school.
So,
Thanks,
David and Dennis, you guys started a new podcast, and we should talk about that for a second before we get into this podcast. We should tell people about other podcasts.
Yeah, it's called Two Dummies and a Dumb Movie. Yoder is dummy number 1. I'm dummy number 2. The setup is that we watch a movie together over Netflix and comment during it. So you could watch that episode while listening to our podcast, but we're not. The rule is it has to be a bad-looking movie, and it has to be a movie neither of us has seen before. So we don't. It's not riff tracks. It's not MSP3K, and we mostly don't pay attention to the movie because we're talking and we get really lost. And so, like in the first episode, there are relationships we don't understand. Like there are girls with older guys who we cannot figure out because we're not paying enough attention if it's a father-daughter relationship or a romantic one.
But the thing you're missing about that movie is it's called Cowboys versus Dinosaurs, and there's dinosaurs in it, and also quote-unquote cowboys. Yeah.
Can I say that watching or listening to the podcast and also not having seen Cowboys versus Dinosaurs, it's kind of fun to construct in my head like the insane movie that you guys, just from how you're describing it, is like, oh, he's making out with her daughter, and the colors of your bikinis tell all about the characters, and the dinosaurs are eating rocks or something. It was fun to imagine like a really crazy movie based on your kind of half watching it.
Yeah, our misunderstanding what's going on. Dinosaurs appear to eat methane. That's what I understood.
They blow up so easy. It's crazy.
So the first episode is Dinosaurs and Aliens?
No, Cowboys versus Dinosaurs.
Cowboys versus Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably a movie that came out pretty close to Cowboys versus Aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, right, which is a different thing. That it wants me to confuse it with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've got an embarrassing amount of episodes already recorded, and we keep making them. So I'll be releasing them here pretty regularly until we get caught up to where we are. But yeah, you'll have that to look forward to. And me saying lots of inappropriate things about the female characters in the movies happens a lot while I'm drinking and watching for some reason. But Dennis tries to keep me on track.
No, I don't.
Well, that's really fun. I'll look forward to listening to that while I'm on the treadmill sometime. That sounds great. So this episode is Homecoming, and the way we normally do these episodes, we're going to start with a summary, then we'll have great lines, weird noticings, trivia, questions, themes, deep stuff, predictions, kill count recommendations, just everything that we always do. All right, so we'll get started with a summary to get people up to speed with Season 3, Episode 5, Homecoming. Buffy runs from reality, Angel's non-hell existence, actuality. Buffy and Cordelia run for Homecoming Queen. Slayer hunters want to intervene. Tracking devices on corsages. German assassins want to make collages. Xander and Willow make out.
Buffy and Cordelia make up.
There's a fishman, cowboy, vampire, and 2 German brothers. It's crazy like when Lost. Introduce the others. Trick and the mayor become best friends. My disbelief, it must suspend.
Every episode has loose ends. I've forgotten so many 90s trends.
But I see what I see, they call me Michael Poley.
I see what I see, they call me Michael Poley.
My virginity prevents me from understanding the totality.
Slave 98.
Wow.
Oh, you put that part in? Oh, crazy.
All right, well, let's get into great lines. So I have a couple of my favorite lines from this episode. I'm going to do my best impressions here to get started here. My favorite line here is from Buffy. I'm not talking about the Slayer. I'm talking about Buffy. You've awakened the prom queen within, Cordy, and that crown's going to be mine. Prom queen within is really a funny idea. I love that one. And then this Giles line just killed me when they're at the bronze. He's like, we got to find Buffy. Something terrible has happened. Just kidding. Thought I'd give you a scare. Are those finger sandwiches? So funny. Giles is so not essential to this episode. It's great.
Yeah. It's nice to take an episode to just be the joke character. I have the next couple. I have this is from Cordelia, from the same conversation as the prom queen within. Just because you were guacamole queen when you were 3 doesn't mean you understand how this works.
So, according to the Buffy wiki, that line is a reference to a Frank Zappa song. So apparently Cordelia has listened to a lot of Frank Zappa. Yeah.
I would not have picked her as a Zappa head.
Yeah, me neither.
Guacamole Queen is a Frank Zappa joke?
Apparently it's a reference to a Frank Zappa song. I don't really know Frank Zappa, but that's what the internet tells me.
Endless monologue of Frank Zappa songs.
Yep.
Well, I could see her being a fan of Valley Girl, like that song, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Maybe that was her gateway into Frank Zappa.
Oh, she probably has dated a lot of musicians, and they're like, you gotta listen to Zappa. And it's just like shit that runs through her head all the time now, right? I also have, this is from Oz. As Willow goes, so goes my nation.
Okay, I looked up this reference as well. Apparently, the reference here is as Maine goes, so goes the nation, which was a reference to the apparently for a long time Maine was a bellwether state in presidential elections. So whatever president Maine voted for was going to win the general. So apparently Willow is the state of Maine.
But that changes, right? So the
it's not Maine anymore. Yeah, which is why no one says.
Got it.
Which is why no one says that anymore.
And that's why everyone just knows it as so blank goes, so goes the nation.
All right, and here's my third one, and then John, you can tell me what this is referencing. We got to get to the library where Giles and the rest of the weapons live.
That's a great line.
Right.
I have nothing for that one. I have nothing for that one. Sorry.
All right.
I mean, there's this potential for references is so huge in Buffy. I would not be surprised if there's something there as well. So we'll get started with weird noticings and trivia for this episode. So I guess starting out here, Buffy visits Angel, and it looks like she's feeding him. Is that granola that she's giving him?
It's definitely a container of blood. It's butcher blood.
It's butcher blood. Okay.
I like that it looked like granola to you. I was going to say something about, I liked how like he slowly is moving up to it. And he's like, he's so intense moving up to it, about to take his drink of it. And then like right before he does, Buffy starts talking. It's like, I don't know, just the pacing and the way it's structured is really funny to me.
No, I definitely didn't notice that. I was fixated on is that granola? It's clearly blood. Okay.
Maybe it's bloody granola.
Bloody good granola.
And then, obviously, I was really upset. Buffy, please tell your friends that Angel is back, and don't tell them that you're a secret and you're going to keep the secret. I was really frustrated that was even spoken out loud so clearly that this is going to be a secret.
Because it tanks your prediction that you made?
No, it totally tanks my prediction. I was pretty sure that this wouldn't last, that this stuff would get revealed. But apparently, no. Apparently, we're going to hold on to the idea of Angel like being hidden by Buffy for a few more episodes. But the secret can't last long. John, you have the next prediction here.
Yeah, or the next noticing. I think so. In that scene, Buffy comes in, she starts telling him about her life, and Giles and Angel has a moment where he's like, Giles, like he can barely remember who Giles is because he's been tortured for centuries, which is fair, right? He's like, oh yeah, Giles, that guy centuries of torture ago. And that's the only word Angel says in the entire scene. As far as I remember, he only says Giles. And then Buffy goes on to talking about her life for like 15 minutes. It's not clear at all to me that Angel is comprehending any of the conversation whatsoever. I mean, he kind of notices when Buffy says that she's dating somebody,
Well,
like he kind of reacts.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He reacts to that, and Buffy jumps back so much. It's like Buffy's actually a little afraid of him, right?
Yeah, but I like a version of this where it's sort of like it's like Charlton Heston in Planet of the Apes.
Dog.
Yeah, well, like Charlton Heston's got his girlfriend in Planet of the Apes who's like a mute idiot, and he just sort of like talks at her the whole movie. I feel like that's Buffy's relationship with Angel at this point, where she's just like, "Let me tell you all about my life and feed you blood, and you can just be my pretty shirtless blood boyfriend in a cave."
Everybody needs a shirtless blood boyfriend in a cave.
I want to defend that Nova from Planet of the Apes is not an idiot, though. I would like to defend that. She just can't talk, but she's not like super stupid. Sorry.
In the
I don't think
novel,
she's on Charlton Heston's intellectual level. In the novel, Dennis?
True.
But in the novel, they have a kid who learns how to talk, and she never learns how to talk, but she seems to comprehend conversations and stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
But they fly back in the novel. They fly back to Earth, hoping to find Earth, but it's another ape planet, and it just turns out that that the nature of all civilization is for humanity to get lazy enough for apes to overtake them. It's not like a devastating destruction that happens. It's just that like humans are lazy and apes ape.
I like
so that was like the point of the French novel.
I like that a lot.
So
Thanks, Dennis.
There's an interesting piece of technology here that I hope, John, you took a good look at.
I didn't.
It looked like a cell phone sitting on top of a receiver of some kind, and I've got a screenshot. So let me see if I can share
bring
this
it up.
with you guys.
Bring it up.
Unless I deleted it for some terrible reason. I don't know why I would do that.
It looked like and then the sound was dial-up. So they were using a cell phone for dial-up internet. Right?
Yeah, I don't know if that was ever a thing.
Yeah, and they were getting
I also wanted to
amazing
point out
quality
in that
video.
scene-
Okay, I've got the screenshot open here, so I'll share
Also,
my
like
screen.
these German guys have like a creeper van that they're parking on school property and are using cameras to film high school students. Like even if they're not trying to kill a high schooler, they're creepers and should have just been arrested.
Yeah, if it was a different principal at that school, but
Okay, you can see this screenshot here. And what I'm talking about, I guess I'm a little bit late. Okay, there's like this cell phone sitting on top of a receiver.
Okay.
And then somehow it's connected to this mouse and keyboard. This appears to be not very useful here.
Yeah, but they're somehow able to get video feed through it, right?
Yeah, like amazing high quality video feed from another camera that they're transmitting through a cell phone to this like evil lair that has a rad like statue in the background.
I mean, wasn't Mr. Trick just like a couple episodes ago bragging about how he got like a T1 line at the lair, and like this guy is not even using it. He's using his data plan to like.
This show is taking advantage of how like little people know about technology. It's like, cool, I called up the video, and now the video is playing through the other thing. Okay,
it makes sense now.
Yeah, you just call up any video you want, and then it appears. Dave, you had the next thing here. Elaine's boss, Mr. Pitt, is the techno baddie?
Or yeah, the guy using the phone computer thing. Have you guys watched Seinfeld?
Yeah, but I didn't recognize the character.
You remember he was obsessed with having a pen. The pen broke, and then he ended up making a Hitler mustache. He was also the one that like got carried away in the Macy's Day Parade, like because he wanted to be in the Macy's Day Parade. He was the boss after J.P. Peterman, or Peterman, whatever his name was, with the
before
catalogs.
Peterman.
Oh, was it before Peterman? All right. Yeah. But anyway, that's the only thing I know that guy from. And it's just interesting for me to see him like try to be like serious villain guy when like I'm just used to him being so silly.
Yeah, he does play it surprisingly serious considering
So last week we had Hooch from Scrubs.
Considering how silly the mayor plays it, this guy plays it pretty serious. So, yeah, the mayor, I was shocked to finally meet this mayor, but also that he doesn't care about terrorists. Like his assistant's like, oh, there's these, German terrorists that are somehow in town. And he's like, oh, please, your hands, they're filthy. just a weird, such a weird character introduction. And then I think everybody has made a comment here. Or Dennis, you have a comment here about it, about the mayo.
Oh yeah, because he's grossed out by dirt under the fingernails, but then he also says like mayonnaise under the fingernails, and I was like, oh, that's disgusting. Like I'm as grossed out as the mayor is. The idea that he has mayonnaise under his fingernails. But yeah, we finally get to see the mayor, Mayor Richard Wilkins III, right?
Sounds right.
Here.
But yeah, we
After
met
all
so
this
many
time.
characters in this episode. For me, this was like a too many characters. Like this is a late game Buffy thing. This should not be the first episode of Buffy you see, because it would totally give you a completely artificial version of the show where there's this constant parade of weirdos.
That's true, but I don't think it clogs the episode up any with the amount of characters in it. Like partially because they're not all interacting with each other. Like they're all kind of in their own separate segments. We got the mayor in his segment. We got like Slayer Fest in their segment, and the regular kids in theirs. And the one little visit from Angel.
Yeah, they have clear motivations except for Angel in this episode.
Angel is still trying to figure out how to get fully dressed. I think that's what he's doing. Because
Giles?
Next time they come to Angel, he's wearing a shirt, but it's ass pants. He's like, I almost got it.
He's got a shoe on his head like a hat or something.
Hell was pretty rough, huh, Ange? Yeah.
He's like, what are these clothes you speak of?
To imagine being tortured so much you can't remember what clothes are. Ugh. David Yoder, you have the next thing here about Willow. Photo Day Willow is super adorable.
Yeah, I really like the montage of them all getting their photos taken. But Willow's is super cute because she does this really great smile, and then it's like the photographer waits too long, and then she's like, and then of course when she's making the most confused face, that's when he snaps the picture. And so.
Isn't that also part of the Freaks and Geeks opening?
Yes, it is. Yeah, good call, Dennis.
Who does that? It's
Apatow?
Sam Weir, right? Who does that?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the
character.
confused face is probably Martin Starr's character, because he's always a weirdo.
No, Martin Starr is the big, huge grin, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is
been a
how
while
well I
since
know
I-
Freaks and
Wow.
Geeks.
You've memorized the opening to Freaks and Geeks, Dennis. Well done.
Yeah, I've watched Freaks and Geeks enough that at this point I don't, I try not to watch it because that show makes me feel a lot of feelings, and the feelings are starting to wear out because I've played that record too many times. So I gotta let it sit for a while.
That's a good metaphor.
So I say Faith asked. Thanks. I said Faith asked Buffy to the dance. You cannot deny that happened.
Yeah, I also noticed that, and also having thought about it, I think I'm with you on team Faith is flirting with Buffy all the time. I think I've been called over to the other side on this one.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like that in the training montage.
Nice. It is interesting. In this episode, Faith is the only one who cares about Buffy and Scott breaking up. Nobody else gives a shit or even mentions it. But Faith is on her side.
Yeah, really on her side. I'll talk about that later.
That's an interesting point, yeah, because Scott, you think it's going to be a big deal. He asks her to, homecoming in this really awkward way at the start of the ep, and then, you're right, he's gone, no one cared. I didn't realize that, no one, I didn't pay attention to Scott moving on either. I think it's convenient so he doesn't get murdered, but yeah.
Yeah, good for him getting out while the gun's good.
Yeah, I think if you can date Buffy for 3 episodes or whatever and not get murdered, you've done a great job. I'm really impressed, Scott. But he's got the record for dating Buffy for the most episodes, I think, without turning into Angelus. So the next thing here, I don't blame Cordelia for telling Buffy about the yearbook photos or not telling her. I don't feel like that should be her responsibility. I don't know whose friend it is the responsibility to tell people that the yearbook photos are coming up, but it's not your friend. That's like your mom. It's a Joyce fail, not a Cordelia fail.
Well, they figured out. No, it was they figured out that like Buffy missed the announcement because she was not in school at that time, and then they specifically tasked Cordelia with that job, and she says
Cordelia actually volunteers it.
Right.
Because she's going that way anyway for an ice pack.
Well, I hope I'm not stepping on someone else's point, but I think it's interesting that when the photos are going on, that's when Buffy's talking to the teacher that she's trying to like get the credit for or whatever. And it's like this is the only time
playing
Isn't that
around
when that
with Faith,
happens?
getting sweaty with Faith, as Xander says.
Maybe I'm misremembering the order.
Dennis, you said there's an Invisible Girl reference. I missed that.
Yeah, during the when Buffy's bummed about her teacher not remembering her, so she's like, "Am I invisible? Can you guys see me?" Like, nobody's paid enough attention to her. That's what.
No,
happens.
that's totally a callback. It's totally a callback, but it's subtle. Like if you hadn't seen the episode, you wouldn't necessarily. It would be fine if you hadn't seen the episode, but having seen it, it's a nice callback.
I guess I saw it. Didn't seem like a callback to me. Just seemed like Buffy feeling super sorry for herself.
Normal part of the conversation. Yeah.
John, you got the next thing here.
Just that Buffy talks about talking about when she was at her old high school. She was the prom princess and the fiesta queen, I believe. So apparently she was the prom princess as a freshman, which I just think is an impressive feat because she was like probably 14 at that time, and she beat out a bunch of like 17, 18-year-old girls for that accolade. It just seems.
Do you think that she's prom princess though, and not there was a prom queen who was a senior?
Oh, maybe that's a special thing. Princess? Okay, sure. Maybe they have like a special like runner-up prize for freshmen or something. I could see that.
I don't know at all how Fiesta Queen works.
Yeah,
and if that's compatible with Guacamole Princess.
Just trying to diminish her victory. All right, she beat out everybody. We know it.
Yeah, that's the real Buffy.
John, you got the next couple here.
I guess so. Somebody wanted to talk about Trick's team. There's no name on that one. Who was that?
Nope.
I noticed that was straight. I didn't put this in the doc, but I noticed that was straight out of Empire Strikes Back, like where Darth Vader's like going through all the henchmen, all of the bounty hunters. No disintegrations. Like I really felt like that vibe was up there. But I did want to know.
I like the team.
I want to know why Willow knows how to tie a bow tie. That's my question.
That's more important. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get to that. Why does Willow know how to tie a bow tie? I'm a grown man. I can tie a bow tie. I'm wearing a bow tie right now. But I didn't learn how to do that until I was in my 30s. Why does Willow, a girl in her teens, know how to tie a bow tie? That's my question.
We don't know much about Willow's home life.
Yeah.
This sounds, of course, like an amazing subject for some fan fiction, John. And the title is, Why Does Willow Know How to Tie a Bow Tie? And, of course, we find out how she learned to tie a bow tie. It's like her nerdy first crush. That's probably not Xander or Oz.
Oh.
It was their friend that got killed in the first episode. What was his name?
Jesse was definitely not a bow tie wearer.
Jesse never wore a bow tie. And also, Willow never had a crush on Jesse. Because you.
Yeah.
Also Xander, but...
Maybe was it Jonathan?
I don't think Willow ever had a crush on Jonathan. Although that would make great fan fiction that like in
had a crush on Jonathan.
In like third grade though, maybe Jonathan was super cool and like things started to go wrong around puberty. Like
what if Jonathan was like tall in his class at the beginning?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And Willow had all the girls, including Willow, had a big crush on him, and they did his bow tie for the bow tie event in third grade.
That's a weird skill. Men barely learn how to tie ties, right? There's a reason probably like every how to tie a tie website, like every video has like over 10 million views. It's a problematic skill. And then John, you've got another weird one. I don't know what this means.
Sorry. No, just Xander brings up the base metaphor of sex, which is he
Right.
he asks Willow if she's at first base, second base, or EGODs, and I just wanted to know what you guys think first base, second base, and EGODs are.
This seems odd because last episode he found out that she's seen the half Monty, so he should know a little bit about where they are.
That's a good point.
But obviously, first and second are the normal first and second. And
What don't know which are what? What are first and second? What are first and second? Because I don't know. I swear to God, I have no idea.
Second is groping. Usually, third is fingering. So I'm gonna guess that EGODs is that Xander is freaked out by genitalia and is like EGODs.
Or she had sex with Oz in his werewolf form or something.
That would be EGODs, yeah.
Yeah, it would be EGODs.
Well, that'd be an amazing story.
Oh, do you think he has like a? I hate to, I'm going to take this podcast a bad place, but do you think that he has like a dog like lipstick penis when he's in wolf form?
Yeah, definitely. Because we've seen him naked, and you don't see a penis dangling down there, so it must be sheathed. So it must unsheathe.
Ugh. EGODs.
It's a red rocket.
EGODs indeed.
I'm going to keep this podcast moving along. I mean, no comment, right? Like, yeah, probably. So then, Dave Yoder, you got the next here about Xander and Willow shouldn't be getting dressed together.
Yeah, that seems pretty obvious. And I guess then the next connection I was making is are Oz and Cordelia doing the same thing in another room where they're helping each other get dressed for the dance? Like, why isn't it Cordelia and Willow and Oz and Xander? And then we could have Oz and Xander kiss instead.
I think this speaks really well to the Oz or to the Xander Willow relationship. That they are like, super platonic, sweet friends up to this point, and that's just normal for them. They're just bros up to this point.
But I believe it's in Never Kill a Boy on the First Date that that Xander is in the room while Buffy changes for her date, right? Like,
right.
I think these people have like totally forgotten that Xander is a horn dog somehow, and they keep setting themselves into these terrible situations with him. Not to victim blame. That might have sounded like victim blaming. It's more of like people just forget Xander's in the room. But people are way too comfortable around him.
Yes, agree.
Yeah, he's totally assimilated himself. Just one of the girls.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like his long-term plan all along, I guess.
I mean, he has a lot of long-term plans that may or may not pay off, I'm sure.
Yeah, like, some of them involve helicopters and steak.
So I love Buffy's homecoming strategy whiteboard you get to see for a second, and it looks like John copied it out, which is amazing.
Yes, thank you, John. Let's go into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll share the screen on this one. This is pretty great.
Shall I read it for the podcast listeners so they don't have to imagine?
Sure. Yeah, but if
okay,
I'll go through
this fairly quickly. Cordelia's strengths are that she's popular with boys, makes friends easily, has money to buy, unclear, couldn't tell. She has expensive clothes, and she has perfect teeth. Her weaknesses are that she's manipulative, two-faced, bad at sports, superficial, no sense of humor, a fake smile, Bree, and Xander. Michelle's strengths.
Who's Bree?
Michelle's strengths are that she's a popular cheerleader, she's athletic, she's the yearbook editor, she's friendly, she's a good cook, she's nice. Her weaknesses are that she has bad skin, wears polyester, she's PB crazed, she's got dandruff, she wears too much makeup, and she never studies. Holly's strengths are her debate skills. She gets straight A's, she's on the drill team, she's good in sports, she always studies. Her weaknesses are that she has few friends and she's a new student. So the standout ones to talk about here are, first of all, that one of Cordelia's weaknesses is Xander, and Xander is in the room Buffy's trying
part
to
of the strategy.
Yeah,
team.
Buffy's trying to strategize with him. She's got him up there as a weakness. I mean, Xander is a weakness. Let's be clear. I think that's on multiple levels is accurate, but
although if that's a weakness for Cordelia, that has to be a weakness for Buffy.
I don't know though, because I think dating Xander undermines Cordelia's character, undermines her popular girl persona in a way. So I think that might be partly what is meant there.
I'm
the
going to talk more about Cordelia's weakness being Brie.
That's a callback. That's a callback to the Hootenanny.
But why is Brie a weakness?
Because she doesn't like Brie. Like we can because she doesn't like Brie. We can like plant it in a strategic place to like foil her, like frustrate her. She's like,
oh, she doesn't like Brie the cheese. Oh my gosh!
Yes,
I was
the
imagining a person. This is crazy that shows up as a weakness.
don't you remember the Brie conversation?
No, I do. I thought it was a person's name. I totally.
Oh shit! I thought it was a person too.
It's Brie Larson. Brie Larson goes to the school.
No, it's a really specific callback, and it is really barely in the episode. I'm really happy that they put that in there.
Well,
the other weird thing is that Michelle's weakness is that she's PB crazed, which I'm assuming is that she's peanut butter crazed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Or P-boys.
What the fuck is PB crazed mean?
I think she loves peanut butter. I think that's like her weekness is peanut butter. Like
maybe the peanut butter gives her the bad skin, and oily hair or something.
So
no, I think
there's two food references. There's like Cordelia's food weakness is cheese. Michelle's is peanut butter. Like, what is Buffy's plan?
I think she's gonna like leave peanut butter strategically around the school to like distract Michelle away from campaigning.
Or maybe she's so PB crazed, it's like putting like peanut butter on your face and a dog licks it. Like we're like, we'll get her to like really terrible by covering it in peanut butter. Like,
I mean, it's so unclear what the strategy is that Buffy hatches based on this stuff. Because, like, I think later you see her like giving people muffins that she makes, like chocolate muffins. They look like she's dressed in like a Letterman jacket, trying to meet with the football team or something. Like, this is all. I mean, this is stage setting, which is cool, but I don't think it gets called back. But it is pretty rad to see this.
And Holly's list just makes me feel sad for Holly. I'm impressed, not to spoil it, but that she co-won with this list of weaknesses.
Yeah, Holly really didn't seem like she was going to do that well.
Poor Holly.
I would have liked to have seen Buffy's strengths and weaknesses for herself.
Right, she asked about that, but we don't get to see it because she wants to see Cordelia's strategies.
Like, weaknesses was expelled last week. Like, would have been a weakness, I feel like.
Angel.
Presumed gang member.
Has left multiple dead bodies in the school. Yeah.
Strengths. The ironic
don't
vote.
Even remember her. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We're really relying heavy on you.
There was a line earlier where Buffy was talking about how everyone had a good time at her party, her welcome back party, and then Willow was like, "They all died."
Although the actual body count for that episode wasn't that high, right, Dennis?
No, actually, of people killed in the party, I think it was only like one or two, but there was a lot of corpses.
Maybe it was just that people died, but yeah.
Yeah, we know that Jonathan at least survived.
That's right. Also, this episode, she finally learns Jonathan's name. Amazing.
Well, yeah, when you need him, you learn his name, right?
Yeah, she learns it, or she stops acting like she doesn't know it. Maybe that's the key.
So
all right.
I guess moving on here, David, you had the next thing here. How much of this is actually Buffy wanting to be homecoming queen versus getting back at Cordelia?
Yeah, it just seems like the initiative, or where it starts from, is her missing out on the normal photo day thing. Yeah, in the end of the episode, where it kind of gets to the core, maybe what the episode's about. She talks about how Cordelia's, basically living the life kind of that Buffy wants to be living in some regards. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that might be more of a theme thing also, but I think it's like, other than before she was the Slayer, she was Cordelia, right? So it's her trying to like become herself again.
Yeah, and also recover from being invisible, right? Like, because she was invisible.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the opposite of invisible? Winning a popularity contest. John says, does Willow's comment that Cordelia needs it more make sense outside of her kissing Xander? What does that mean?
No.
So, they're like, when everybody's saying why they're siding with Cordelia, right?
Okay.
Willow's excuse is that, Cordelia needs it so much more than Buffy needs it, which makes sense if interpreted in terms of Willow's guilty conscience, but doesn't make sense in any other way. I feel like Cordelia doesn't need this victory more than Buffy, like at all. And so
Buffy does not analyze that enough to be like, what the fuck's going on with Willow this week?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all.
Nice. Of course, Buffy's amazing posters, are just her face in an autograph. I thought those are kind of rad, but they're like amazingly presumptuous, but also show, whatever, Homecoming Queen is this pretty shallow thing.
I was also like, everybody else's posters look like maybe they were made in the high school computer lab. Hers looked like they were professionally done by a good graphic designer. There's no way Buffy made those. Those were well done.
It oddly looked like a promo poster for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show, before they fully knew what the show was about or something. And they just had a photo of this girl that was cast as the lead, and it's like, Buffy. So.
Yeah, no, these are clearly not set. They're the promo photos from season 3. That they used.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
they're like
funny.
11x17 color glossy, like Buffy's Kinko's budget must be out of control. How does she have the money for that?
Yeah. Later on, she's like, I spent a year's allowance on this dress, but that must be the dress plus the printing.
Yeah.
Or she made her mom buy the posters or something.
Also, how does she even have a year's allowance? She was homeless 3 weeks ago.
It's an expression.
All right.
David, you're talking about Buffy's buttons. She needs to learn how to button her sweater.
Did you guys see that sweater when she had the board up? She had 2 buttons in the middle, and there were 8 buttons at least on that sweater. And it was like, what? You just don't care about? It was like she was taking dressing tips from Angel with his open shirt or something. She just didn't. I know it's the 90s.
I didn't know where to place that comment because I was like, I don't know, maybe. I think last time you were on, you were talking about Cordelia buttoning a sweater also.
It's David's clothes corner, but yeah.
No, I like calling it David's buttons.
This is a cleavage heavy episode.
Sweater police.
It's there. I don't know. If you want those kind of great observations, though, I say tune in to Two Dummies and a Dummy with me and Dennis, and you'll get more of that.
We talk about cleavage a lot. Yeah, and Travis isn't here to stop us from talking about cleavage or bras or anything.
All right, well, we'll just move on then. So, Dennis, you've got 3 things in a row here you can tackle.
Jonathan is really going to town on that cupcake. I really like that scene. He's digging into it. And then he's also like, Cordelia paid me $6. That buys a lot of cupcakes. And that
buys 2 cupcakes?
That's just wow, there's been some really serious inflation since '98. That looked like an expensive cupcake to me. That did not look like...
No, he's talking about the 6-pack of shitty Kroger cupcakes. That's what he's talking about.
Or he's buying the mix just to make it himself.
Oh, making cupcakes. Just eating them by himself.
I can't believe he ate her whole cupcake and then tells her about the money.
Yeah.
During the whole prom or homecoming battle montage, there's also the montage of the Slayer Fest prep, and that prop leg that Daniel Boone uses to test his trap is just hilarious to me.
I love that too. I've been watching a really large amount of Mythbusters lately, and I was just like, that's a terrible human analog. You need to get some ballistics gel.
Yeah, you need ballistics gel. That's funny. At the end of all this, Cordelia and Buffy get into a verbal attack, and that sets up the third act. But Cordelia is bonkers, bonkers mean to Buffy, where she's what does she say? She says a bunch of mean stuff, and then Buffy's like, why is it okay for you to talk like this? Do you have parents? And she's like, yeah, 2 of them, unlike some people.
Oh, yeah.
They both get really mean. I didn't think Cordelia was meaner. I thought they were both super mean.
They're both mean, because Buffy says vapid whore, which is pretty bad. I feel like that's crossing a line too.
But that's at the very end. That's
it's at the end. Yeah.
Did you guys notice in the montage as well, speaking of the cupcakes earlier, that there were like 2 rando kids that like got cupcakes from Buffy, and then Buffy's like marking them on her list, and then Cordelia shows up with like a baskets of goods of candies, and then they're just like tossing the cupcakes aside and then chowing down on the candy bars, and it was like they were thin kids, and I was just like, how much fucking junk food do you need to eat, you know?
These high schoolers have no impulse control at all. They're going bonkers.
I've forgotten what it's like to be in high school. I guess that was crazy to me.
You don't remember like losing your mind at a bake sale, high school
Well,
bake
I just
sale?
can't imagine eating half of a chocolate cupcake and then being like, well, screw that. I'm going to eat some candy bars. You know?
Oh, right. Like
Also,
another.
everybody eats the cupcake like frosting first. Nobody is like.
Make a big mess on your face.
But also, it's like the second something slightly better arrives, you immediately get rid of the previous thing. Like you're like, this is great. Oh, better thing. Next thing. Like it is. I mean,
this
it's
is
cartoons.
garbage now. Yeah. Sorry, I just had to bring that up.
It is a goofy montage. I mean, the training montage is goofy too. I mean, of all the hunters, the Slayer Fest hunters. Oh man, I love that fish dude. This whatever scales with this like
He's a
knives he never gets to
Stegosaurus,
properly use. Anyway, with all this setup for the knives.
Yeah, I want to talk about him later.
Okay, John, you said Oz's
Or I
song
could talk
about
about
Willow.
Yeah, so the Dingoes Ate My Baby are playing this song, and Willow mentions that the song was written by Oz for her. So I looked up the song. This is She Knows by 4 Star Mary. I think 4 Star Mary is the band that does all of the Dingoes Ate My Baby songs.
Mm-hmm.
And they picked a good song. Like, this song is, it is the song you would write about your girlfriend if you were a werewolf. So, like, I'm going to quote a couple lyrics here.
Please.
So, won't ever... Can't ever find my sanity, won't ever till I hear her calling me. She knows that side of me. I can't help it. Can't help that side of me. Just a little more, just until I know what I'm feeling. Just a little more to find my sanity. I feel like that's the song about being a werewolf. I feel like they picked the exact right song. It's a nice little detail.
A werewolf totally wrote that song 100%.
Yeah.
Man, I do like another deep dive like movie just about a werewolf musician be kind of rad. I didn't think anything about the song when it was playing, but that's great, John. Thanks for looking that up. David, you got the next thing here. It makes sense that Cordelia be mistaken for Faith.
Oh yeah, I mean, just they kind of have a similar look, and like especially these guys have just been watching from afar or whatever and everything. And it's like, oh yeah, I got like. They just know mainly that they're getting like 2 girls, one's a brunette, one's blonde, and they're the Slayers. So I just thought that was
I wonder if before he got taken away, Trick caught video of Cordelia and was like, "Oh, I fucked up. I'm not gonna say anything."
I feel like that's consistent with his character.
So what's the trick?
Because he did specifically say 2 Slayers. That is a money back guarantee. So
what's the trick
the
with
surviving
Faith? Like,
German dude could get his money back.
because they want to get Faith and Buffy to Slayer Fest, and they get Cordelia instead. How did they like? We just see the mix-up? We just see Cordelia and Buffy in the car together. There's not like an explanation, really.
No, they listened. So the German guys were spying on the high school when Buffy and Faith were making the plans to go to homecoming together. Mm-hmm. But then all their friends they're like, we're going to take we're going to go to homecoming together, and then their friends, like, unbeknownst to the bad guys, switch things up so that it's only Buffy and Cordelia in the limo. So the bad guys were expecting Buffy and Faith to be in the limo because that was their plan, was to go together.
They want them to make up, right? So put them in the limo together, right?
I was confused on this point as well. It was only upon repeat viewing that I was able to figure out what was going on there.
I mean, it makes sense for the story arc of the show, of course, for them to be in the thing together. But I did not get. I was like, oh, cool, but why? Oh well.
There was a note that they got that had that info.
Okay.
And Buffy.
I think I got so fixated on that beautiful VHS Slayerfest '98 thing that all the bad feelings went away immediately as soon as the Slayerfest '98 video plays.
Yeah, I think a theme of this is having professionally produced media for really narrow personal purposes. I think that's a theme of this episode.
And I think that's like
You're right.
that's an amazing fetish, and it's lovely to see that when that happens. Professionally produced personal media.
Well,
That's a thing I do in my life.
I kind of understood why they stayed and watched the entire video, even though he said earlier on that like you have 30 seconds or whatever. It's like I would want to see the full production value of this video that this guy made, you know. But
This is a video that's made to only play once.
So Dennis, you got the next couple here about how fast Buffy is.
Oh yeah, I mean Buffy steps on a bear trap and then pulls her leg out before it snaps. So I'm just saying, Buffy is fast. She got them Slayer skills.
Myth busted.
And then I say that's Stegosaurus Demon Man. So this is like one of those random attempts they make at making like a new kind of demon dude. And I like the frills on the head. I like the plates. I think he's just way too brightly colored. Like, just that's the part that doesn't work for me is the bright coloring. I think he's pretty funny. They're like, I am. What does he say? I wrote it down. Something
of the Mequat.
Yeah.
So the Mequat clan.
So little fun facts about Stegosauruses.
Please.
They are from the Jurassic period, and even though media often shows them fighting Tyrannosauruses, they are actually timeline further apart from Tyrannosauruses are than we are. They're like 84 million years apart, and we're only like 65 million years apart from the T-Rex. The spikes on the back of a Stegosaurus are called thogomizers, and that is a paleontologically accepted term, and it's based on a Far Side joke that everybody likes. And there is evidence of the thogomizers. There's fossil evidence of the thogomizers being used on an Allosaurus crotch. So it's totally whacked an Allosaur in the crotch. There's a little fun Stegosaurus facts.
Excellent.
Can they pop blades out of their arms like the demon guy did to throw her?
Yes, they can.
Oh, cool.
Wow. I didn't know we get so much science content on the Buffy Virgin this time.
Yeah,
Well, you're usually the tech guy. There's not a lot of paleo stuff that shows up on Buffy, but when there is, I want to talk about it.
Well, I'm glad to know that the demon science is made up, and then when we go to dino stuff, it can be get pretty real.
Did you even have to look any of those up, Dennis? Sorry, I'm stepping on.
No, those are just things I know.
That's what I thought.
There are species of Stegosauruses that have spikes on their shoulders, so that's kind of similar to the spikes in the arms.
So Yoder, you called out the thing I also called out in the quote, which was the almost out of character joke from Giles about Buffy being in trouble, which is lovely. That was like a total laugh out loud for me too. Like that was amazing.
Yeah, that was like maybe just the most pure joy moment of the episode for me. It was very funny.
Especially since she is in trouble, of course. And
yeah.
So like there's that obvious irony to it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, how did Giles find out? Oh, okay.
And then, Dennis, you're talking about Cordelia with the spatula versus the telephone or whatever that scene is. The spatula.
Yeah, I thought she was really funny pulling out that spatula, and she's like, because of this. And it also reminded me of Battle Royale, just this thing of like, you get one random weapon, and Cordelia drew the short straw and gets the spatula. And then I also say Giles gets knocked out again. Usual for him. Mike's taking a drink for that.
I mean, it's just he's not in this episode at all. Like he misses. We don't even see him get knocked out. We just like cut to Giles knocked out. It's great. He's totally not in this episode.
Yeah, Giles and Oz are both kind of just there for one-liners, it seems like, this time.
Yeah, poor Oz. A lot of shit is happening that he's not aware of.
Also, no intervention by Angel in this episode. You totally expect him to show up and like tear these people apart, but if he does, then Cordelia will know about him, so he's got to stay back in the cave or whatever.
I think we've been shown that his brain is moving much slower than it was before, and he's at home processing Giles and then also Scott boyfriend. Like, so that's in his head. That's what he's mulling over.
Yeah, he's got to stay away because of Scott now. Maybe that's why.
Maybe, yeah. I ask, and this is really just a fashion question. I generally don't know. Maybe it's a normal thing, but why does Buffy wear the corsage on her ass?
I don't know anything about corsages.
Yeah, I thought they went on like either the arm or like the chest. I've never seen one like.
That's what I would say too, but maybe there's a butt corsage. I don't know.
Or maybe you're not supposed to at all, and Buffy just seriously messed up there. I don't know.
But she was prom princess. She should know.
Yeah, maybe she's trying to make this happen.
Yeah, you don't correct Buffy Summers. Jeez.
I didn't catch that about the corsage placement on the butt.
I also didn't see it. I'm just taking Dennis's word for it.
All right, it happened. It was on her ass.
That's where Dennis was looking.
For most of Act 3, it's on her butt.
Interesting.
All right, technically it's above her butt. It's her, like, I don't know, lower back waist. I don't know. It's where the spine ends. Anyway, I also say more spatula. Yeah, just the Gorch wife gets stabbed with a spatula. A lot of spatula in this episode.
I'm
also
surprised that spatula
Gorch
had a real wood handle.
Me too.
Like,
but apparently it
my
does.
spatula does not have a wooden handle. My spatula has a plastic handle.
Yeah,
I guess I have
It's not sharp. It's definitely not a sharp end. So she had to drive that pretty hard into the chest to make that work.
There was like a slight delay before she vaporized. I thought almost that was the thing of like it wasn't a wooden spatula at first or something, but yeah.
I think vampires operate on Wile E. Coyote logic, that they're okay until they realize it. Boing.
Oh, there's definitely that vibe with Candy, right? Because she gets stabbed and it's like a second before she realizes that was it. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Also, did Mike ever predict if the Gorches were going to come back or not? Because
No, there's no predictions about the Gorches.
Why would I ever assume that they would come back? When did they first appear?
I mean, that's the thing. You don't expect them to show up again.
No, there used to be two Gorch brothers. They were at the mall. There was the fight at the pinball arcade.
They're in the
which episode is it?
With the bad eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, that's more helpful to me than in the mall. There's enough weird mall episodes. Okay.
I think there's only one.
Oh, but that's where they kill the big boss, right? With the rocket launchers in the mall too, right?
Okay. Okay, there's more than one.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just those two. I'm just getting technical to escape looking like an idiot. So.
All right, and I also the ending is great. Turns out that neither Cordelia or Buffy win prom princess. It's a tie between the other two who we've never met.
Yeah, I wanted to know, Mike, did as a Buffy virgin, the little 1-2 punch where they're like, "Oh, it's a tie," and it's neither of the main characters. Did that actually work on you in any way?
I actually did think Buffy and Cordelia were going to win together for a second, and then they look so fucked up because of all the fighting and how rad that would be, and then they took it away from me immediately and gave it to the rivals that I was not following at all. But, I had written down their names because there was just like a mess of characters in this episode where it's like, okay, all this stuff gets called back in Buffy version, so I better write these people down. And I was like, oh, Holly and Michelle, the people that Cordelia talked down to or about immediately. I was surprised, but it was like, that's fine with me too, because, they wouldn't learn the right lessons about this episode if they won also. But I also don't know what how this universe feels about, prom queens. Now I do. But it got me. Well done. Well done, Joss and co. So we're going to move on to questions for the group. These are more open questions versus observations. So first question I've got here is, how excited are you to be in a limo? And I say that because there's a little bit of haggling about the limo thing in the beginning. And in general, people are very excited to be in a limo. So if I pick you up in a limo, how amazed and excited are you to get in the limo? Should we be incorporating limos in our lives more for special occasions? Because it seems like if you don't do it at prom, that's like it. There's no opportunity for limo get around. Well, you're in Napa Valley though area, Dennis, and I bet there's limos going around all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe you're in a
That's what I
special
was gonna say.
circumstance.
As the guy who lives in like tourist town, I see limos I never get in a limo, but I see them all the time. The other day, there was a fucking limo in Safeway blocking like 4 parking spaces, and I was like, God fucking damn it. Like, so I'm not excited to see limos at all, but I have only ridden in a limo like 2 or 3 times, and other than if it's for a funeral, I think I've been pumped about it. I've been like, wee.
So why would you be in a limo?
One time I got in a limo when I was in middle school, and I made it to the nationals for a karate championship, and for some reason we got picked up in a limo, and it wowed me. I was wowed.
Well done, Dennis.
And then for a funeral, I don't know. So the funeral ones don't wow me, but
I feel like I had a firm answer of this about not caring about limos until you said what if I picked you up in one? So now this whole story where I walk outside and Mike Poley's out front in a limo, that gives me a lot more feelings about it.
Well, I mean,
excitement, but also apprehension.
Right, like a Michael Douglas The Game scenario is about to play out.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people just hire limos as it's like a fancy designated driver. I mean, nowadays you could just use a Lyft or an Uber. It'd be a lot easier.
Yeah.
There's still a place for limos, but for instance, I'm going to wine country in a couple weeks for this Thanksgiving wine thing, and I'm going around in a bus. It's not a limo.
Is it a short bus or a full-size bus?
I think there's going to be maybe 40 people on the bus, so I think it's a bus, regular bus.
So it's a really crammed short bus. Sorry.
Yeah, everyone's going to be sitting at each other's laps.
Is this wine country, Oregon?
Yeah. So Willamette Valley, Oregon, wine country, which is
Are you
just
sure
as lovely as Napa-ish.
Sounds like a seniors tour. Are you going with a bunch of seniors?
No, buses going from winery to winery is pretty common.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of seniors, John. I can't wait to get on this wine tour with seniors.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to shit on your vacation, Mike. It's just
it's not a vacation. It's just a wine outing. I'm going to a few different tasting rooms with other people who are in their 30s and 40s. It will be lovely.
Are you
take
sure?
A bus.
Have you confirmed that these people are in their 30s and 40s?
Okay, let me look at the invite. There's people's names on it.
The thing is, John, when you're doing a lot of wineries, you need a designated driver because you're going to get sloshed.
No, that seems fair. That seems fair. But getting on a bus for and going with a bunch of people to a place, that seems like a thing that school children and seniors do. I don't know.
I think I'd be more excited to go get drunk.
I can honestly assure you, John, this is like a normal thing. What Mike is describing is really normal in wine.
Okay.
No, but I like John making it seem special and messed up.
I'm sorry. Yo, I live in Philly and we don't do that.
Yeah, wine country in Philly. Yeah, that'd be like visiting 3 gas stations. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the line?
It's a wine tour. You'll get it. It's Philly. It's cool.
And somebody behind you was like, "Oh shit, times are tough when Doctor Who's got to take the bus."
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have a cape on?
I was wearing a bow tie, as a matter of fact. And yeah, yo, you know the economy's bad when Doctor Who be taking the trolley.
That's good. Mike,
what a character both you and this person is. So the next thing here. So Faith is considered more elusive than Buffy to kill, at least according to Trick, when he sets up the most dangerous gamey part of this episode. Who do you think would be harder to kill?
I like this question, Mike, because it's not a who would win in a fight question, which I couldn't answer you. But I think
between Buffy and Faith?
Yeah. But I think who is harder to kill is more about survival skills and stuff. And I have an answer to this, which is based on when Spike first shows up and he's about to kill Buffy, and then Joyce saves her, and he's like, "A slayer with friends. I didn't sign on for this." And to me, what makes why Buffy has survived so long is because of her family and friends, not just in incidents like that where there's another person around to help your back, but the emotional safety of having loved ones, where Faith doesn't have that. So even though it seems like Faith would be harder to kill because she's harder to find and because she's a little more psychotic, I think she actually doesn't have the strong survivor's instinct of somebody who's loved.
Good answer.
Yeah, I love that.
I'll take the opposite stance and say I think maybe you could get Buffy in the spot where you could kill her easier, because you would just take her mom or her friends, kidnap them, and put them in danger. You know, I've been
Batman.
I've been watching too much Adam West Batman while I've been coloring comics or something, but that's what I'm picturing. And then, but see, because I've been watching Batman, then in my mind it's like, well, you don't actually kill the good guy, then you fail still anyway. So I don't know, but whereas
I think in a not battle to the death scenario, we just need to murder somebody, Buffy was being video cameraed, right? So I think if you have the ability to surveil somebody, you have the ability to snipe them, right? So in a realistic, let's not engage the Slayer in battle, let's just take the Slayer out, Buffy would lose quicker. But that's not how the show ever operates. They're not sniping Slayers.
Yeah, if I wanted to say something really terrible, it's like you could just blow up the entire school, then you'd be sure to get both of them, right? That would work. No?
Faith doesn't go to school, man.
Well, she was helping Buffy train there. She's there sometimes.
Yeah, she's elusive. You never know where she is.
So she'd be harder to kill.
Dennis, you have the next questions here.
All right, and it doesn't work as well because we ended up talking a little bit about Scott. But I noticed when I was going through the notes that none of us even said Scott and Buffy break up. So it's none of us even mentioned the Scott breakup. What does this say about his and its importance?
The relationship is so boring. I don't even know why they're together. When everybody's hanging out, and it's you've seen the clear connections between Oz and Willow and Cordelia and Xander, and then what does Scott do for me? Plus, Angel, since Angel showed up, there's no way that Scott matters. Yeah. Angel and Buffy are so destined to mess each other's lives up that at least for this show. Ugh.
I mean, I think that that's how Buffy feels about Scott too. She describes him as a solid guy, that's not how I want to be described as a boyfriend. He's a real solid guy. He's I think,
he's there.
Yeah, being a homecoming queen. I think Scott is a symbol for Buffy about being normal and having a regular life, things that she wants to have to prove, because she wants to prove that she can have those things. Not because she necessarily intrinsically wants them.
Yeah, I think the way the show wrote it is that Scott is avoiding the painful end that would eventually happen anyway, because he sees how Buffy's not treating this as a real thing and everything. But if you just look at it from Buffy's point of view, it's pretty cold-hearted to dump her right before this homecoming dance. And then he shows up with the girl that basically looks exactly like Buffy, this other blonde high school girl, and it's geez, moved on fast there, Scott.
Yeah,
maybe that was his sister or something.
Buffy doesn't even see Scott. She's a little busy with her crazy life.
Oh, and then playing into the Faith Buffy thing, right? Faith totally dumps on Scott's date, right?
Yeah.
Truly trying
she
to
plays a really mean prank on him, where she pretends that he's got some horrible disease.
Yeah.
Well, it's jealous ex behavior or something, yeah.
Yeah, so I actually have a question about this. I didn't put in the notes about what do you think about Faith? Because I feel Scott's reasons for breaking up with Buffy are, pretty reasonable. That he's just not getting what he wants out of the relationship. He breaks with it's a fairly okay breakup. He's never Scott's never shitty to Buffy, right? He's just this isn't working for me, and he's out, right? And nevertheless, Faith goes after him nastily, really, really gross, and it really goes after him. Do you want that out of your friends? Do you want your friends to go after your exes to immediately take your side, against your exes? I don't, but is that what you want out of your friendships?
I think you always want your friends to have your side in that scenario, and so Faith got Buffy's version of their relationship, not ever hearing Scott's side, so that maybe explains more why she attacks Scott.
No, I don't want that, John. I don't. I mean, as it is, like, you know, you live long enough, your friends go through breakups, and you have to make a decision about which partner is your friend. Like, you can't really be friends with both people when there's a breakup or a divorce, and that's hard. But like, to be vindictive on top of it, no, there's no value. But in high school, you know, all bets are off. People don't understand human relationships. I may have done the Fate stuff, and I don't
This
recall.
is very high school. Not like our adult real life.
But for high school, it does not seem inaccurate to do that. I mean, there's also some jealousy on Faith's part, right? Because she wants to hook up with Buffy. So
you admit it.
Admit it. I'm feeling it too now. Now that you guys have pointed the details out, I can't not see it. But obviously, the show isn't going to give us that, so it's not going to be predictions.
I don't know. Maybe that's why Travis avoids this season.
I get why he avoids it. I don't want to see Willow and Xander make out. That makes me so anxious. I wouldn't want to watch this episode either.
They are both really cute though, and it's like their hormones are raging and stuff. It's
why are they melting down the best chance they have for happiness with these other people? They are both miserable people together. I don't want this to happen.
Yeah. So this episode's story, the Cordelia versus Buffy thing, I think it can only really happen because even when Cordelia joins the group and stuff, Cordelia and Buffy never become friends. And this is something I've been kind of observing on this rewatch is like Cordelia and Willow actually become pretty good friends. Like you see them interact and stuff, but you never see Cordelia and Buffy hanging out. So just like, why do you think that is? And I think we've maybe answered a little bit about this. I think they're too similar.
Yeah, I think maybe, it's that thing Buffy is reminded of who she used to be with Cordelia. It's like, I don't know, everyone has people that annoys them or whatever, but like, I feel like, whoever annoys me, it's probably just me being like, oh, I see the stupid things that I do, like in this person doing their things. And so it's really not fair for me being like, oh, I hate myself so much that I'm going to project my hate on you for you doing a similar thing to what I do. But, people aren't rational creatures.
Yeah, I mean, I like that example of like Buffy seeing herself in Cordelia, and that's why. Because like Cordelia's super funny. Like, she's a fun character. I like having her on the show. I would feel like they should be good friends, but Buffy needs a closer friend that's more not like her, I guess, like Willow. But whatever, she can't be friends with anybody anyway because she was gone and didn't tell anybody what was going on. So looks like Angel's going to be her good friend. Angel's going to be her confidant now, even though it should be Cordelia.
Anything.
Oh, I wanted to say about Angel being the confidant. I want to have a Travis moment here and reference a TV show that none of you probably even know about. But there was this show called Huff. You guys ever hear the show called Huff?
Does it have David Boreanaz in it? Is that why?
No, it was Hank Azaria. He was a psychiatrist. Anyway, he had problems. He went to his brother that was like in a mental institution and couldn't respond to him and basically treated his brother as his therapist and unloaded on him all the time. And I kind of saw that Buffy was doing a similar thing of like, Angel's not fully there, like, giving her back what she needs, but he's at least there to like be talked at. Whereas her friends have kind of already shown in previous episodes that like, they're over, like Buffy's drama of like problems that she has to be there to listen all the time. I don't know. Huff.
Are you recommending this show?
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. Hank Azaria gives a good dramatic turn. It has I think it's one of the first roles with Anton Yelchin, however you say his name. That was Chekhov on Star Trek and recently died.
Scotty.
So it's like a 1 or 2 season wonder. It's all right.
So tell me about this Huff thing again.
Okay. Well,
why is it,
I was
what's
just
the
going to say as far
connection?
as like, that Buffy is treating Angel kind of as like her go-to to unload problems on, whereas like he can't actually like be there to be responsive to receive those problems.
Okay,
and in the show Huff, Hank Azari's character does the same thing with his brother, it's really not fair because his brother's like dealing with his own crap of like having severe mental behavior issues and like, but like Hank Azaria goes there and he's acting like he's being the good brother and visiting him, but he's really just unloading his own shit onto his brother. And don't you do that, Dennis? Sorry,
I don't do it with my brother. No, I listen to him talk. I've actually tried to talk to him about real stuff, and it doesn't work. You can't do it, even when he's on meds. So, it sounds like a relatable situation.
Sorry to make it too real there. I was going to say, though, here's John. I was worried my internet was going to go out because we've been having really bad storms here in Indiana. I think there was like a tornado even in Ellettsville or something. So it was pretty bad. All
right, well, John, it looks like he's back.
Hey, sorry.
Yep, cool, he's back. You just missed, we went deeper on the Huff stuff, but otherwise, that's
Huff,
it.
Sorry, Huff?
Yeah, Huff.
You'll just have to listen to the episode.
Okay.
All right, and Dennis, you have the last question here. Should friends make out? Yeah. Well, John and I have already dealt with this question, and the answer is yes. But seriously, should friends make out? You mean like, should you start a relationship with your best friend?
It's a very interesting question, Dennis.
It's a big question. I don't know. I'm asking to my group of friends. But yeah, I don't know. We don't need to answer it. Obviously, you guys have already answered it. You made a movie about it.
Sure. So, I met my wife. We were not really friends before we started dating. We met, we had similar friend groups, but we met and then we just started dating, but we didn't like spend years getting to know each other and like be in other relationships.
Yeah.
So this has worked out for me. I like this, but because I like starting dating, because then you set up parameters that are really clear and everybody knows what the rules are, versus starting friends and then changing the rules has always worked out poorly for me. But this is everybody's story is different.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Okay, moving on to deep stuff.
Oh,
yeah. So this is a really dumb theme question, but maybe it's the question. What is this episode about? I couldn't put like a simple label about what this episode was about, besides being a most dangerous game, like satire or like riff. And it's about the relationship between Cordelia and Buffy, but what is it really about?
I think it's about Buffy trying to find herself and her place in the school. But yeah, I think one of the themes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right, is like the Slayer versus who she like is outside of being the Slayer, right? And can she have a normal life, and like can she have her interests that aren't like stabbing monster related? And this episode answers that she can, but she can only do it very poorly.
I agree with that. I think that's the bulk of it.
Okay, so then it's the conversation that she has with Cordelia when, like, Cordelia doesn't want to get killed. This is what Buffy does all the time. She can't live a normal life.
Right.
Yeah, and it's almost very, like, season 1 Buffy not wanting to embrace her destiny, right? Like,
yeah, I feel like the show... that's right.
Like, gotten over that and is, like, okay being the Slayer. But, yeah, every now and then you backslide, I guess.
I feel like the story, so I feel like the story's addressed this issue. So this episode doesn't feel, this is a filler episode then to me. Like, it doesn't feel like it moves the story forward. Like, I mean, yes, there's the Willow Xander makeout, but like, which happens
it
because
also introduced the mayor.
Oh gosh, and the mayor's mayo thing. Great.
I was gonna say that's what the episode's about. It's about mayonnaise under your fingernails. Who can't relate to that?
See, if I were to try to show this show to a friend, I would just clip out the little bit with Willow and Xander, and maybe that mayor scene, so you see the mayor, and then maybe the mayor trick scene. But like, I don't know. This does not feel like an important episode of the show, an essential episode. But maybe
Michael, we were kind of having this argument before we started recording, but I feel like you have the totally wrong approach to this episode, is that this is just a fun episode. It's not a filler episode. It's a funner episode where a lot of fun stuff happens, like Slayer Fest 98. And,
I think
this show... Sorry. What, Dennis?
I agree. I think this is a fun episode. We get Slayer Fest. We get, like the Stegosaurus demon and Daniel Boone and, like, the guys using early 90s internet to kill.
Yeah, and I would just say, without like giving anything away for what happens down the road, you being a Buffy virgin, but it's like, shows usually tend to get darker as they go on, that, like more serious things happens. And you may look back and be like, wow, I would really like to have one of these fun, lighthearted episodes like Homecoming later on. So appreciate what you got while you got it.
Look, David, I can't appreciate it because this show refuses to let Angel like be revealed, and it wants to pretend that this is the big fucking like.
Have you not watched any other TV show ever?
Jesus,
I mean,
sorry, I didn't mean to like hit. I just want this next drama to move forward so we can like. I don't like the agitation of Angel existing and Buffy not talking about it, and it makes me angry at the show. And then the show's like, you guys are like, it's a lighthearted episode. No, it's about Angel being hidden in a cave and Buffy saying, I'll never tell anyone about that you're here. Like, no, tell fucking Giles that the guy that killed his girlfriend and the person that's in the main villain in season 2 is in a cave and he's safe. He's better now, guys. Like, that's insane to me.
The
show can
just to point that out again. In the cave. He's in a mansion.
Mansion.
It feels like a cave. It feels like a cave.
Whatever's mansion cave. It just makes me so angry, David, that this show is like, let's just play another fun episode. Like, it's not fun. I need resolution on this shit, and it bothers me.
No, I understand. I definitely agree that like that's one of the things I hate most in TV shows is when characters lie to each other for no good reason at all. It's like there's no reason why like you wouldn't just come out and say what was going on or whatever.
Right.
So I understand that frustration, but if you take that away, just try to enjoy the fun.
Right, and then they had more frustration with the Willow and Xander makeout, which is like clearly they're going to lie for as long as possible to their partners that happened. So it's just like, cool, just like add another weird big lie. But I guess if they lie about like their love, then like at least... I don't know what happens now. I mean, I'm going to make some predictions about it.
I would say if you can't handle these two little lies, definitely don't watch CW's The Flash because, like, you would just like explode or something.
I don't like shows where the main problem is people lying to each other.
Like
and they're lying about stuff they don't need to lie about.
Fucking
that stuff makes me crazy. I know it's every romantic comedy ever. It's just like I'm not gonna tell this girl that I'm only dating her because of a dare.
I've told you guys my She's All That story, right?
Yeah. So this episode's about continuing to lie to Michael to the audience about the real relationships. Okay, my rant. I guess I got
Slayer Fest 98.
Slayer Fest 98 is hilarious and awesome. I did love Slayer Fest 98. I love that the German terrorists are the dumbest villains and they shoot each other.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask about that. Surely the whole point of having like a video game type setup so you can see like everything from like a god's eye view would be to avoid things like where your own guys shoot each other. Like, how does that not get avoided by his system? Well, I feel like that he has the unique ability to do that, right?
I understand the one shooting at the one that had the target, but
right.
The other one shooting back, that's just being a jerk because you know that the Slayers don't have guns on them, that they're not, shooting at you. So
yeah. Well, how he could even be that precise on that giant grid he had, like
right, you're right, totally. It's like the grid is like probably like half a square mile or something for this area they're in.
And why doesn't he have tracers on his guys? Like, he puts tracers on the Slayers, but he doesn't put tracers on his own guys. This could have been avoided because he could have been like, oh, I see that one of the Slayers is inside your butt as you walk around. That might not be accurate. Like, maybe something's going on.
The call's coming from inside your butt.
This is a classic problem with homing beacons, right? Because you want to use them on other people, but not on yourself. Yeah, this is a classic.
Well,
it's hubris.
Also, when they shoot, the homing beacon dies, but it wasn't like tied to like their heartbeat or anything.
Right.
They happen to like directly hit the homing beacons as well with their bullets when they shot each other.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's so bizarrely silly that the show went in that direction. Also, like it built these up. I mean, it's kind of the like a fun time in TV where there's like goofy terrorists. Like you don't casually use the like phrase terrorists in 2017, but in the 90s, like we can have fun with terrorism.
Fun white terrorists. Hooray!
Yeah.
Hey, they're the
Everybody
Germans.
enjoys a white terrorist.
They bombed an imaginary flight. I actually looked up the flight bombing they mentioned, and it's all that shows up is Buffy and something from World War II. So they didn't like pick a real flight.
Well, that was smart choice to make up one. Do you want to move on to predictions?
Yeah.
Obviously, I failed one.
I bet a lot of predictions happen.
Oh, a lot?
So yeah. Well, yeah, there's actually quite a few. So to look at predictions, first of all, let's review that, Mike, you are currently at a 71.7. We'll round that off to 72. So you're getting to the lower end of the C range here. We'll see how you do after today. So there's a few here that I think are debatable. So first of all, Mike predicted in the second ever episode that Willow and Xander would become an item. Have they become an item? And I'm going to look to Dennis and Yoder first. I
think yes,
here.
But you know,
does this count as item?
I say they're not an item. They're itemless.
They hooked up, but they're not.
But there's definitely weren't there predictions about making out or not making out also?
Well, okay, hold on. Okay. Season 1, episode 11, Mike predicts that invisible assassins will make a comeback. Does a mention constitute a comeback?
I don't think so. I was expecting something more dramatic than this.
Okay.
Than a reference.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So do you remember when Cordelia, pretends to be the Slayer and puffs herself up and scares Gorch away, right? So Mike predicted that Cordelia, this is his prediction, and I quote, Cordelia strikes back, becomes a vampire-killing badass. So she definitely presents herself that way. Does this count for anything?
Oh, when she tells off the vampire.
Because she definitely presents herself as a vampire-killing badass and scares away a vampire. But she doesn't really become one, so we're going to say no, right?
She sells it to that vampire, but it's not a truth.
Right.
Say.
Okay. All right. Agree. Okay. All right. Now, contrary to previous predictions, in Season 2, Episode 14, Mike predicted that Willow and Xander will never get together. Does this constitute getting together? What do you think?
They touch lips.
Okay.
I think so. I count this as not being an item, but getting together.
Okay. Man, this is where you guys are going to get me so literally. This is not a permanent relationship, and y'all know it. And
you have to think about your phrasing when you make these predictions.
What were you thinking when you said that? Do you remember?
No, I mean, they were hinting at they were going to have a relationship in all of season 1. There's like this cuteness about them, so it's like clearly something's going to happen. But
sounds like we're counting this as denied.
I've obviously fucked this up, but my thought was that it would needed to happen, but now of course the show has decided to make it happen at the least opportune time when they both have a relationship so that it can't happen. But it's like they could totally have been a thing sooner, but they were the show writers were incapable of doing it then, and now they want to do it only to make people angry and happy. Fans want to see them together, but it's let's do it when they can't be together.
I don't know. It sounds like a denied prediction to me.
No, it's totally denied.
Okay. So this is a fun one. In Season 2, Episode 17, after Willow's fish were killed, Mike predicted that the next time we see Willow's room, we will see fish in it. And I believe that we are in Willow's room in the bow tie scene, and there is nary a fish to be seen.
Did you pause and scan the whole room?
I mean, I didn't look
I'm gonna
that
pause and
carefully.
scan the room.
Tell me I'm wrong. Someone
Well-
prove me wrong. I don't think there's a fish there.
I don't think we
Maybe it's
see one,
behind
but
the curtain.
yeah, the dressing screen. It could be behind the dressing screen.
But
gonna
no,
bring up
okay,
an
but
episode.
no. The prediction states, and I quote, the next time we see Willow's room, comma, we will see fish in it. Not there will be fish in it. So obscured fish do not count. We have to see the fish, and I don't think we see a fish.
Yeah, that's a
All right.
failed prediction.
I feel bad about this because I feel like Mike only predicted that because I kept making a big deal about Willow's fish.
Yeah, typical red herring.
Because I brought it up multiple times before it happened, where I was like, "Where are our fish?"
This keeps happening where Mike makes predictions based on what makes us excited. Where like he's like, oh, there's gonna be like a whole Jonathan plot arc, and like in season 2, and like that was wrong.
Well, you're based on the things you're excited about, but you guys aren't watching the same show.
No, that's very true.
Yeah, it's true.
This is obviously doesn't count, but I just want to point out that Mike predicted in season 2, episode 20, that the gang will fight a dinosaur. We didn't get a dinosaur, but we did get a dinosaur-esque villain, but obviously doesn't count.
It actually bothers me that they never call him Stegosaurus head or something. Like they're like, you got spiny. Those are clearly like Stegosaurus plates. You know, they're designed to look like them, but nobody ever mentions it.
And those are all the ones I could find. I feel like I missed one, though. Do you guys know what I'm missing?
I don't. I felt like there was another one too. Let me look at the doc. Sure.
All right, I'm reviewing this episode, the Willow's room scene here to see about the fish situation. I don't recall any either, but I thought
We're going to have to cut this part out. This is boring. It's
Yeah.
like everyone, it's the Looking at Documents podcast.
Oh yeah,
You're
there's
welcome.
no fish there.
No fish.
A lot of distractions in this scene, so you don't see the fish.
No fish.
The fish.
Well, okay, so John, the prediction about Cordelia becoming a badass vampire slayer,
Yes.
I feel like that's almost negated when we see the Scooby Gang like trying to fight vampires on their own. Like she's not, is it?
Yeah,
that
we
there's still
discussed
time
it. We discussed
that
it in
they're-
that episode. I mean, it could still happen, so we're leaving it open.
No, I like that John keeps bringing it up. Anytime Cordelia fights something, it's like, was she a badass this time?
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's just the suspense.
I really enjoyed that moment though, where she stood up to the vampire. That was pretty great because she's just like hit her breaking point.
Yeah, that was a good moment. Agree.
All right, it doesn't feel like it, guys.
So it's
I
interesting
think
that
there's one other wide shot in this scene, but
Willow Xander, or I guess we're going to call them Wander,
Zillow.
or Zillow.
yeah, that's fun.
So the Zillow thing is interesting because just for the predictions, because so Mike made 2 contradictory predictions that they will become an item and won't get together, and he got like the worst of it because we decided that they didn't become an item, but they did get together. So
Yeah, you guys are jerks for your like literalness here, because like in my heart I know that I got what I thought would happen, but I didn't do a good job with the genie, with how I set up my wish, and so I lose.
yeah,
This
Buffy Virgin is a total monkey's paw situation.
It's so annoying. right,
the
any others,
beef's a
John?
little dry. What?
Anything else?
No, that's all I could find. Yeah,
Okay, I got some more for you guys.
yeah,
So,
please.
The Trick and Mayor partnership is only going to last for 1 caper. They're going to do 1 caper together, and then somehow their partnership will end. I don't want to go into details of how it will end, but they're going to pull off 1 caper. I don't know if it's going to be the style of Slayerfest 98. No idea. Just they're going to do 1, try to kill the Slayer thing together.
So it's an attempt, no matter. Okay.
But only once. And I don't know if it'll end with Trick being killed, but separate prediction, Trick is gone before the end of season 3. Trick is a blip. The mayor's the big deal. to this show, apparently, because he became an underling to the mayor immediately. By the police went to his house and grabbed him. So, in my opinion, I think
Is that two predictions? Is that
2 predictions, yeah.
he
So the one
dies,
is Trick and the
dies,
mayor get
Mayor-
one caper
Big bad.
together as a team. Trick is gone before the end of season 3. And then this is a big one. The Willow Xander are a thing, and the Buffy Angel is a thing. This is going to get revealed on the same episode, and that episode is going to be called Revelations. That's got to be the episode, right?
Do you want to make those as separate predictions so that if one comes true but not the other, you don't fuck yourself over? Or-
Okay,
No,
sure.
double
yeah.
down on it.
Willow
I
Xander.
say,
Okay,
I feel
Willow
like-
Xander, Buffy Angel, they're going to be revealed together. That's prediction. Separate prediction to save my butt just in case
Oh, okay.
is that Willow Xander, Buffy Angel reveal will happen on the episode that is called Revelations.
I feel like it's cheating for you. Look ahead at the episode titles. But,
I thought this episode's called Homecoming. I thought that
no, but I'm just saying it gives you. I mean, they're pretty vague and it doesn't inform anything, I guess. But
I mean, how
feel-
can I not? You know, just in the bottom of this Hulu like little tray, I get like all this shit down here. You know, like Revelations
Yeah.
is coming up
It's showing some
right
faces,
after
man.
Band Candy. So
well, I blame our social media then, or whatever.
blame the media of the now.
All right. Any other predictions, Mike?
None right now.
Do you have a die handy?
Damn it! I knew you were going to ask that. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I know this part isn't actually fun, but I'm gonna keep doing it because I don't know why.
What's the dice roll website, John?
I
wanna have
got
more
it.
Control
You
over
want to
my
do your
dice.
own?
Yes, I'm at random.org. Is that the one you use?
Okay.
I have
Hold on, sorry. Oh no.
Random.org/dice. No, Mike's gonna roll his own dice.
Okay.
He wants
I'm
to
gonna
be in
roll-
control of his fate.
Like a man.
Yes. Roll your dice like a man.
6.
Better go
Very
home and get
good.
your papa's dice, son. All right, what? 6?
6.
Okay. If you roll a 6, that means. Okay. Oh, okay. I want you to name a type of monster that we have not seen yet, but that we will see before the show is over. So we've seen Frankenstein, we've seen vampires, we've seen creature from the Black Lagoon monster.
Right.
What have we
mummy.
not? We've seen a mummy. What have we not seen that you can predict that we will see?
I feel like we've seen almost all the main monsters, but clearly I'm missing some monster family. I mean, they've had quite a few episodes to go through all of the Universal monsters. We haven't had a Hunchback of Notre Dame style monster, so like a Hunchback monster. I mean, obviously we've had tons of vampires. There's not too many distinctions to make in vampires. We've had a fish monster, finally. That was like, I think we held out a lot for that. We had a mummy. We had a dino monster, and I've got a prediction about dinosaurs, so I don't want to mess that up.
we already had a ventriloquist dummy.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we had a
Thing,
doll
Yeah.
monster. So we had a problem child. Have we had a Jason-style monster?
What would that entail? Just like a serial killer? Like
Jason basically is a slow-moving zombie
yeah, okay.
with
Yeah.
a focus.
What about
Say
Michael
something.
Myers? Same type, right?
Michael Myers is the same, but without the supernatural abilities.
Have we had a Freddy Krueger type?
We had Kinderstad.
Yeah, that was pretty close. A
But we
dream-
dream-
haven't really had a dream killer yet.
Are we allowed to help just by?
We have
naming
totally
things?
had a dream killer. We had the Lucky 13 monster.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about looking.
Yeah, we had those. I guess like.
Sorry,
Have we
maybe
had
they've already.
aliens?
Maybe this
Have
is
we
a
had
bad
aliens?
question. No
We
aliens.
haven't had aliens.
Yeah, aliens.
Okay.
This show does not give a shit. Aliens.
So wait, what exact prediction? Let's see. Buffy will show aliens.
There'll be aliens and dinosaurs on the show, okay? I'm just saying.
In the same episode?
No! Different episode. There's going to be an alien monster.
Excellent.
Now,
An alien dinosaur monster.
I need to be really specific with you guys. By alien, I mean a small gray man, like a Martian, like a fucking
I think you're
Martian.
shooting yourself in the foot now.
Yeah, I feel like aliens was a way more broad category.
Oh,
with
shit.
it. Probably
All
giving
right.
it to you, but now the alien's got to be small. It's got to be gray. So if we
No,
get like
okay. It's
if
like
we get
a
like a
Martian.
tall gray alien, you're like, you're fucked.
All right. Scrap
It's-
Martian alien.
Just say
There's-
alien from another planet, right?
do we technically have a robot villain already?
Yeah, Ted.
Yeah.
Do we have a spider monster?
No,
I
there's
don't
an
think we
insect,
do.
but no spider.
Spider monster.
Okay, not
Forget
alien.
aliens. Spider
Okay.
monster. No aliens. I mean, there's definitely like a Men in Black side story that, they opened up in season 1 with the Invisible Assassin School situation, but like I don't think they're going to go back to that more than once, and they're not going to do that story. So spider monsters.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, Mike. Do you have a prediction as far as the whether or not there will be a Slayer Fest '99?
There will be no Slayer Fest 99.
No Slayer
be
Fest
ama-
'99.
That would be an amazing callback if there was. Feels
yeah.
like a one-time Most Dangerous Game scenario. No one would go back to that well.
That might have been a gimme, but I just thought it was a funny question.
Do you have any predictions based on highly produced videos for like a small audience within the context of the
Oh, there's
show?
definitely going to be more of those. Those are amazing. But that's like a weird fetish that's hard to describe. Highly produced niche videos will be made, but like, come on. Of course they will.
Wait, is that a real prediction? Am I writing that down?
I don't know. I mean, it's up to you.
So let's look at your score now. So at the beginning of this episode's prediction counting, you were at a 72 or 73. You are now at a 68.75. You have drifted into a D. So this keeps going. You're going to be a failure of a Buffy virgin.
I think I'm going to be a C when this thing is over, but I think the challenge is I cannot get lured into predictions based on what you guys are excited about, because you guys are not excited about the same show.
Well, can
And
I try
that became
to?
more than apparent in this episode, where I had to argue for what the show is about, and you guys are like, it's a fun episode. It's like, there is outstanding bullshit in this show about the Angel, Buffy, Xander, Willow, and you guys are like, meh, not as important as like, man, that was fun, right? Like, there's so much agitation for a first-time viewer that you guys don't have to sit through. And like,
Yeah.
anyway, you guys are fixated on new stuff. You're like caring about Jonathan, a lesser character, even. Like, you guys are not even in where I am.
Yeah. No, totally. My favorite part of this whole episode was Guacamole Queen. Like,
Well, yeah, exactly. And I did not think there would be a thing about Guacamole Queen, and there won't be. That's not even what the show's about.
you don't think you're not going to make any Guacamole Queen predictions? That's not going to make a comeback?
No.
Can
I don't know,
can
Mike.
Can I ask though, Michael? Because we're talking about slipping into a failing grade. What about Buffy's status with getting back into school, needing the teacher's signatures? Do you have any opinions about what may be happening with that?
Oh gosh, yeah, I was surprised that she had to pursue that even for a minute, but I think that's just to serve the plot of her being invisible. So I don't think that's a fixation the show has. I think
Well, I
we're
was just
over that.
wondering if you had any predictions based on that story.
I don't think she's going to ask another. Oh, shit, David. Yeah, she's going to ask. She's not going to ask about getting another teacher to sign her stupid form. That was the last
So
time.
she's just going to give up on it.
I don't think the show cares. It doesn't care about that.
Well,
It's not
I'm
that she
I'm
won't,
I'm
but
not fake baiting you. I'm like actually, honestly, like trying to like get you to think about it. I don't know.
So I think she's going to ask someone, but it's not going to happen on camera. It will have happened. It's not going to be like,
Oh, it'll just be resolved the next time we hear about it, or something.
yeah, it'll just get resolved. Just like, her getting into school is more or less resolved. With despite the arguments, it just kind of got resolved. Like,
I would say that's a prediction, right? That her needing or a teacher's signature, that problem will just be resolved the next time we hear about it.
yeah.
I'm not trying to lead you down a road. I was just curious what you thought.
Slayer Fest 99 not happening. And
Wait, am
she
I actually
doesn't-
writing that down? I already
and
did.
she's
I already
not
did.
going to
Okay.
go down She's not. She's just resolved getting a teacher to sign for that she like is a student or whatever. That.
So wait a
thing
second.
is.
So we're saying Buffy will not pursue another
Or it'll
teacher.
just resolve
Getting back-
itself.
Another
The
teacher
getting back in
recommendation.
school thing is resolved.
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of a boring one.
Yep, it's a boring administrative question.
It's something in the show.
Yeah, well, it all fits in the monkey's paw of Buffy Virgin predictions.
There's some great predictions that I are still outstanding that I can't believe. Like if I like not really remembering the show that well, that I would have thought we would have had an answer on by now.
Sure.
I don't know if I can really mention them by name without like giving things away, but like I don't know, like No Funerals is a good one. Like I mean, not really. Like I would have thought that Buffy would have had at least one funeral at some point. Like
by season 3, episode 5, there would be a funeral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shockingly, that prediction is still out there.
I don't know. Like I don't know if we're gonna have any more funerals. Maybe not. Like this one about like Joyce will be kidnapped. Like I honestly can't remember if Joyce is ever kidnapped or not in this show, but it just seems like it's a natural thing that like you would have thought that would have happened.
Oh, I should make a prediction about Scott. Scott is not going to go to college with Buffy. It's a random one, but I think this is kind of Scott's moment has passed. Like we're not going to hear about Scott. I don't see him on the DVD covers. I think Scott like is the luckiest guy to ever date Buffy. He did it for however 3 or 4 episodes and he didn't die. Like, yay, Scott, great job. You managed to get in there while Angel was in hell. That was a brief opportunity to date Buffy. That was it. No one will get more.
He did lose 2 of his best friends during that brief relationship. But
That was hardly Buffy's fault, though. Like they would have self-destructed without Buffy.
They're lucky that Scott's lucky he wasn't murdered also. So Scott, luckiest man to ever date Buffy. This is the longest anyone will ever date Buffy except for Spike. Spike's going to date her longer or whatever. Date.
Wait.
I don't know what that's going to be.
Wait a second. Am I writing that down?
Scott is going to be the longest human boyfriend that Buffy has in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer television show.
Okay. How are you measuring time, though? It's kind of tricky.
Episode lengths. Episodes. Number of episodes.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like 3 episodes, right? It's like basically 2 to this one, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Sort of. Because it's after Anne. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So 4 episodes, right? Can we say the relationship lasted 4 episodes?
Yeah.
Longest human boyfriend.
That's a good one.
And I'm not going to say vampire as the alternative because I don't want to lose if Spike gets transformed into something or if Angel becomes something different. And then like, oh, technically not a vampire. He's possessed.
I mean,
oh man, I feel like we've just bullied Mike with semantics to the point where he's just like on the verge of like killing us about it. You know?
I kind of don't care. This is kind of one of the funnest parts of this for me. Like, I really enjoy this.
So, Mike, are you saying that Spike will not be transformed into an alien dinosaur creature? Is that your prediction?
I'm not going to step into that.
Sorry, I was just taking it too far.
I think that Buffy will have a relationship with Korchunk of the Miquat clan later. I think that's going to happen. I think he's going to be the next boyfriend.
The Meacock clan is coming back, son. Want to move on to kill count and recommendations?
Yeah, please.
Yes, let's.
We have 2 humans, 1 vampire, and 1 dead dinosaur demon. So that's the kill count. And then recommendations. We have to do most dangerous game.
Yeah,
that's what this episode is.
Wait. Which version of that? Not surviving the game with Ice-T?
I said the most dangerous game.
Yes, but there's also the movie Surviving the Game, which is based on the most dangerous game, but it's got Ice-T in it, and it's a really awesome, like early '90s action movie.
I know that was a movie we were all obsessed with in high school for some reason, but
it's good.
I was just going to recommend the 1934 Fay Ray movie. But we can do both. Why not? All I really remember about the surviving the game is that they made him like run on a treadmill to measure his.
Yeah.
He's like. And I also recommend Battle Royale, which is another like people being hunted movie from Japan. Really fun. I'm sure everybody watching this podcast has heard of it. But the specific reason I recommend it is because of the random weapons deal. So yeah, Battle Royale, really good. So those are my Recs.
Can I make a recommendation? Is that allowed?
Please.
Is it Huff?
No, it's not Huff. There's this movie called Series 7, The Contenders. It
Oh,
came
yeah.
out in 2001. The logline says a TV program selects people at random to kill one another for fame and their freedom. And it was 2001, so it was like while reality TV was just starting to happen. It was like kind of this prediction of seeing where maybe it would go, that like people would be killing each other, like to win the show. And I feel like that's maybe what Slayerfest would ultimately end up being if Trick could sell it to a TV producer. Like it would be, just like, yeah, that Most Dangerous Game, hunting down people sort of thing.
Slayerfest was definitely missing more cameras. It could have been streamed to a vampire audience, and it would have been bigger, I think. Yeah.
We watched that movie together, Mike.
Which one? Series 7?
Yeah.
I think it's actually good from what I remember.
It sort of has a found footage kind of a Blair Witch feel to it. And I remember watching it in your living room.
Sounds. I mean, the setup is like, it's the same thing as The Running Man, right? And
Yeah.
I don't feel like Running Man super connects to this episode, but
No, but everyone should just watch it anyway.
yeah.
Got those great like head exploding off collars that they make everybody wear.
Those are wonderful. I mean, they have the
Yeah.
corsage
Okay.
tracking beacons, so I mean, they're kind of
Yeah, it's
not
pretty
quite
much the
head
same
exploding.
thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Buffy Virgin. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Buffy Virgin, Twitter, Buffy Virgin Pod, on Facebook, on YouTube. There's so many ways to consume this show. We try to make it as easy as possible. Please check out the show. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your thoughts if you think we messed something up or if you have something we didn't cover. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us. Catch you next week. We'll be getting into band candy.